Housing rights campaigners demonstrated on Friday outside the office of a Moncton-area landlord whose company has attempted to illegally remove tenants from an apartment building. The action took place on the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. About a dozen activists from NB ACORN marched from Dieppe City Hall to the nearby office of landlord and realtor Kyle Johnson, who is listed on government documents as director of Johnsky Holdings Ltd. This year, the company bought a 28-unit apartment building at 320 St. George Street in Moncton. Tenants were soon informed that subsidies from NB Housing would no longer be accepted to cover rent. The company then renovated the units after clearing out the low-income tenants. In September, the remaining tenants received notices of termination, giving them 3 months to vacate. And in a bizarre twist, property manager For Rent Solutions told the NB Media Co-op that those apartments would be turned into subsidized housing. The Tenant and Landlord Relations Office eventually overturned at least one of those evictions because they were never authorized by the tribunal. NB ACORN called the story an example of illegal rent-evictions and harassment. On Friday, activists rallied outside a building that includes Exit Realty Associates, where Johnson's office is located. He did not respond to a request for comment. Earlier, activists gave speeches outside the Dieppe Municipal Building.
As millions of Canadians are struggling with rising rents, unaffordable housing, and the threat of eviction, we know that more needs to be done to protect people from slumlords, corporate greed, and the destruction of existing affordable housing. We are in the middle of an unprecedented housing affordability crisis.
Prime Minister Mark Carney launched a new agency last month dubbed Build Canada Homes, saying it would, quote, supercharge home building across the country. ACORN says money from the agency should come with conditions requiring that provinces like New Brunswick introduce tougher legislation. Last year, then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau pledged to introduce a Renters' Bill of Rights that would, quote, crack down on rent evictions, among other measures. So far, the government has published a so-called blueprint for the proposed Bill of Rights. NB ACORN says change isn't coming fast enough.
But here we are, over a year later, 13 months later, and absolutely nothing has happened from the federal government to move that forward. A blueprint is fine, but what we need is not a blueprint. We need an actual action plan, and actions speak louder than words.
Housing Infrastructure and Communities Canada provided the NB Media Co-op with a statement that did not respond directly to ACORN's demands. It said in part that the Government of Canada is calling on provinces and territories to take actions to make home renting and buying fair and functional throughout Canada. You can read the full statement on our online publication, nbmediacoop.org. A spokesperson for NB Housing did not respond to a request for comment for this story. According to Tuesday's speech from the throne, delivered by Lieutenant Governor Louise Ambeau, the provincial government plans to add 1,760 affordable housing units by 2029. ACORN Canada has called for the construction nationally of 1.2 million units of affordable housing across the country over the next 10 years. For now, housing activists are trying to maintain pressure on government and landlords to keep renters in their homes.